Hello there, welcome once again to another video on the CFC Central channel. I'm Sam. In this video, we're going to be looking at two aspects of the Nottingham Forest game, the collective game plan from Chelsea, and also focusing on Noni Madueke's performance and the numbers he put up which suggest that the Blues may have a potential superstar on their hands. Let's dive straight in. Inside the first 90 seconds, you can see what both sides were looking to do. Forest, just like against Brighton, don't want to press us on goal kicks and risk getting bypassed, so they drop their line of engagement. Chelsea are in a 3-2 here with Gusto inverting. You can see Elliot Anderson, who is actually a central midfielder by trade, but is playing left wing for Forest, coming inside from the wing to stay on Gusto. The centre forward, Wood, is on our centre backs, and Morgan Gibbs White, the number 10, is on Moises Caicedo. You'll also note that Chelsea have a 5v4 advantage here, with Wood having to cover two centre backs. Fofana going wide right makes it harder for Wood to cover both his markers and gives one of the two Chelsea centre backs extra space and time. When Colwill passes to Cucurella, Hudson-Odoi presses. When the ball comes back to Colwill, Forest are very narrow, looking to squeeze the space centrally. Fofana is completely free out wide. Colwill, though, being the excellent passer he is, decides to pass through the pressure and finds Nicholas Jackson dropping, who draws out one of the centre-backs with him. James Ward-Prowse, meanwhile, is zonally screening his defence and also pushes on Nico. There are a few things to note here. First is that both pivots are now ahead of their markers, facing goal and able to play quick passes forward. This is a key principle of Maresca's build-up. The second is that Anderson going inside to cover Gusto has left their left flank completely open, with Noni pinning Forest's left back Moreno and Palmer unmarked in the right half space. Jackson lays it off to Gusto, who tries the pass right to the 2v1. Unfortunately, it does not come off. Here, early in the second half, we see the same story. 3-2 for Chelsea, 5v4 advantage, Anderson again moving central from left wing to mark Gusto. This time, Colwill clips a nice pass to the space vacated by Gusto and Anderson for Cole Palmer. Palmer has enough time to take a touch, control, and turn before Ward-Prowse even gets close to him. You'll see Forest's other defensive midfielder, Yates, is on Enzo on the far side, leaving a gaping hole in midfield. Palmer sees Noni isolated against Moreno and almost finds him with an excellent pass. A few minutes later, the same issues arising from Anderson staying on Gusto. Palmer drops into the same pocket to receive and drag out Ward-Prowse. There is again this huge hole in midfield for Forest. This time, Jackson drops into the space, dragging the defensive midfielder Yates before receiving diagonally from Palmer and lays it off to Noni, making a third man run into the vacated space. With Moreno refusing to follow and Yates engaged, Noni can now run at the back four with a 2v1 on the left flank. A simple pass finds Sancho in the penalty area, but if you look inside the box, this is why no one likes playing low blocks. Forest already have 6 outfielders, the back 4 and the double pivot inside the box against 4 Chelsea players. To make something count from these situations, your deliveries have to be of pristine quality. Key to Maresca's plan to burn down Forest was Madueke, who was up against Moreno. The Spanish fullback was dribbled past 5 times in his last game versus Fulham, and this was Chelsea's plan, to isolate him versus one of the Premier League's most dangerous dribblers. One way they did this was by simply going direct. In the 5th minute, Forest have Anderson again tucking inside to make it a 4-2-4 mid-block, so Colwill hits a diagonal straight to Madueke in a little pocket. Anderson is struggling to go from being on Gusto to help his fullback Moreno. Moreno is unable to get close to Madueke because of Palmer. If he tries to close down and misses, it would leave a Chelsea player 1v1 with the centre-back Murillo. Madueke receives, smartly draws 3 players before giving it to Gusto, who is unmarked after being left by Anderson. Just before half-time, Forest again tried to block off Chelsea's pivots. Colwill goes direct again, finding Madueke 1v1 with Moreno. Palmer, as the number 10, also drifted right to boost Madueke's chances versus Moreno. Here he simply stands in the half space, pinning the fullback inside. When Madueke receives, Moreno jumps out to him, but Palmer is now free to make a run in behind. Forest, though, are very well organised. Instead of a centre-back jumping out, the left defensive midfielder Ward-Prowse tracks Palmer to the byline. This allows Forest to have both centre-backs on Jackson. In the box, Forest have a 4v1 on Jackson, with Sancho and Enzo yet to arrive. In the 10th minute, Chelsea are building high again. Anderson is slightly inside to stay on Gusto, and Palmer again drops in that pocket between him and Moreno. Under little pressure, he turns and plays a ball down the line for Madueke for the 1v1. Madueke breezes past Moreno and gets into the penalty area. You can see 6 Forest players in the box. Madueke has Gusto unmarked for a layoff. He elects to go for a shot instead, which goes wide. Should Noni have passed to Gusto in the situation, or was he right to take the shot on? This is an interesting thought exercise, and you can post your thoughts in the comments. The right side dynamics, however, kept working in Chelsea's favour, even when Anderson stayed on the wing instead of coming central. Here, Chelsea have a box of 4 versus Forest 3 out wide, and unlike the last sequence, Moreno tries to jump early on Madueke, who plays a quick 1-2 and explodes in behind when Murillo finally forced to step out wide. You can see Jackson finally 1v1 with Milenkovic in the box, attacking the near post for a cutback. The ball does arrive, lacking a little bit of power, but Jackson's shot is blocked. In the 14th minute, after a Forest break, the ball finds Palmer unmarked in the middle third, and he moves the ball straight to Madueke against Moreno. Once more, Noni surges into the box. Forest again have bodies in the box, but this time, Madueke has options in the second line. You can see Enzo is asking for the ball at the edge of the box. Palmer is also making a late run. Madueke, though, does not scan, takes it on the outside, and his cross shot knocks a satellite out of orbit. You can see from the reaction of his teammates that they did not appreciate this decision one bit. In the 28th minute, Fofana passes to Palmer, who is allowed to turn once more. Madueke does excellently here, anticipating a pass and making an out-to-in run across Moreno. The through ball is exquisite from Palmer, and Madueke is in the box again. Once more, it is a 6v4 advantage to Forest in the 20-yard zone. Madueke, to his credit this time, tries to delay his cross, but it is eventually blocked. There was another way the Blues tried to isolate Madueke 1v1 with Moreno. Here in the 3rd minute, Sancho is on the ball on the left flank. Forest have a 6v5 on the congested left side, so Sancho switches to Gusto, who quickly shifts it to Palmer, and suddenly you have a 2v2 on the right side. When Noni receives inside the box, you can see how quickly Forest get the 3v2 to nullify the threat, the mark of a disciplined side. From here, he has the option to cross far post for a 3v2 with Sancho asking for the ball and unmarked. He also has Gusto in the pocket for a dangerous half-space cross. Madueke decides to hit the byline, but on his weaker right foot and at full sprint, with a 4v2 on the near post, he chooses incorrectly. At the start of the 57th minute though, this overload to underload switch clicks. Once more, Sancho on the ball on the left touchline. You can see Enzo underlapping to create room. Sancho lays off a pass, drifts inside and receives again. His marker, Aina, hasn't followed, so Ward-Prowse, who is screening, is forced to step up. Sancho switches to Palmer, and now Murillo is forced to step out of the defensive line with no midfielder available. Palmer immediately goes wide to Madueke, and on this 1v1, he cuts inside and squeezes the shot in. Madueke's performance is highly interesting for multiple reasons. Just look at the diversity of threat in the sequences mentioned in this video. He offers 1v1 threat, there is an out-to-in off-the-ball run perfectly timed across his marker for Palmer's through ball, there's even a header from attacking the far post from an Enzo cross. His numbers make for even more intriguing reading. In just 63 minutes, Madueke registered 7 shots, an excellent tally for a winger. However, these were collectively worth 0.23 expected goals. Mathematical logic says he shouldn't be taking these shots, unless of course he's Kevin De Bruyne. But against a stubborn block, with box options that were weak in the air, and crosses he was forced to deliver quickly on his weaker foot, shooting, irrespective of quality, can often be a useful weapon to force defenders out of their holes. Just to contextualize, the player to have the most touches in the penalty area per 90 minutes this season is unsurprisingly Mohamed Salah, averaging 9.55 touches per 90 minutes. Salah has regularly hovered between 8 and 9 touches per 90 across his Liverpool career, showing how relentless and aggressive he is with the ball. Bukayo Saka also hits double digits regularly for touches inside the box as well. Last season was the first time in his career he averaged 8 plus in the box. He's averaging 9.37 early this season. Against Forest, Madueke had an incredible 17 touches inside the box. Salah was 28 years old and in his 3rd Premier League season for Liverpool before he managed to breach the 15 mark. Bukayo Saka, meanwhile, is yet to do so. Of all the players in the Premier League to have played at least 75% of the maximum 540 possible minutes, Madueke is also third for shots per 90 with 4.15, behind Erling Haaland and Antoine Semenyo, one spot ahead of Saka. Sancho, for instance, has taken only one shot in his 4 appearances this far and is historically a poor shot taker in terms of quantity, never having crossed 2.1 shots per 90 across his senior career. While Sancho's incisive passing is an asset, Madueke's tenacity and directness is a huge plus against most sides, even when it does lead to inconsistent goal and assist output and frustrating spells. But consider this: Madueke has hit 4 or more shots when starting a Premier League game 4 times for Chelsea. In those matches, he has managed 6 goals and 2 assists. What Madueke did against Forest, which is generating terrific underlying numbers, is a tendency that should be actively encouraged, because on a day like against Wolves, they're capable of obliterating the opposition. But that's all for this one. Thanks again for watching. Hope you all have a lovely international break, and I'll see you for the next video against Liverpool. As always, up the Chels.